Hi everyone, very good morning and good evening. We'll start the session, guys. So let me share my screen. Okay. So in the last session, so what we have done, so we discussed about how to create role-based access control. After that, we saw that. So how to create a masking policy for the numbers, how to create a masking policy for the strings. We saw these things, right? Today, what we are going to do is we will see so how to recreate masking policy, how to alter masking policy. So all these things we are going to see that. So for example, once the policy is created, after that, once we applied that particular masking policy to a specific column, if I try to recreate it, observe this one. When I try to recreate it, we are using create or replace. It is telling that masking cannot be dropped, replaced because it is associated with one or more entities. It means this policy is already applied on the columns or some of the tables, right? So that's the reason it is telling that. So you cannot able to drop or you cannot able to recreate. Whatever the policy you want to recreate it, what we need to do is first, we need to unset that masking policy. We have to unset. Then only we can able to recreate it. So if you wanted to unset the masking policy, the same command we are going to use is alter, see this one, alter table if exist, and then table name, modify column. For the salary column, we apply the masking policy for numbers masking policy. What we are going to try here is, so let's say, let's observe this one. So here, previously, what is the masking policy we created for the numbers? We created for numbers, business and account admin, right? We have given. Now the same thing, if you observe here, see this one, we are creating a masking policy with this condition. Here we are not giving access to analyst. Other than the analyst, we are giving access to everyone. But the masking policy name is same. Same masking policy name we are using. And then we are trying to assign other than analyst, everyone can able to see the data. If they are analyst, then they can able to see this value, right? See this current role not in analyst, then only value. Other than the analyst, everyone you can able to see the values. If they are analyst, then this is the value what they wanted to get it. Now if you see this, if you try to recreate it with the same masking name, we are trying to recreate, but it is not possible, right? What you need to do is, already this masking number policy, it's applied for a salary column in this particular table, right? For that, what we need to do is, first we need to unset this masking policy. So this unset masking policy, when you are unsetting, no need to give the policy name. See this, we are using alter table if exist, table name, modify column. This is the column name. For this particular column, we are unsetting. Once we unset this, the policy will not be applied. For this particular column, for the number masking policy will not be applied. It means, see this, if I try to see, if I analyst, and then if I see the data for the salary column, for this particular table, employees information table, analyst can able to see the salary, right? And then developer also can able to see the salary values. Observe this, because we unset the masking policy for the salary column. It is not applied. Previously, we applied this number masking policy for, see this one, business account admin only can see. Developer, analyst, they cannot able to see. But here we can able to see because we unset the masking policy. Once we unset the masking policy, then we can able to recreate it. We can able to recreate it. Now let me recreate it again. See this, let me change this role to account admin. Now we are in account admin role. Now let me execute this. See this, when I executed this, now we created a masking policy again. We unset, then we have done. So remember this, when you wanted to recreate, what is the step we need to do? First we need to unset. After that, what we need to create masking policy. Create masking policy. Once we created, again what you need to do? We need to apply masking policy, right? So if you wanted to recreate it, first we need to already, if the policy is applied, we need to unset it. Then we need to recreate it. Again, we need to apply the masking policy. Now observe this one. We recreated it. Now again, we need to apply this masking policy for the specific column in a table, right? For that, what you will do? Again, we are going to execute this command. See this, alter masking policy, alter table if exists, table name, modify column, salary column. We are applying policy, masking numbers policy we are applying. Now, if you apply this, what will happen? Analyst can see these nines, remaining everyone can able to see the values. Now apply it. Now we have applied. Now this is account admin role which we are in. Now let's change the role to business. Business can see the values. Now see this. Now executed. Now business can able to see the value. See this one, salary, they can able to see. Now let me change the role to developer. Developer also can able to see this. But what about the analyst? Now let's come to the analyst role. Now we are in an analyst role. Now when you execute this, observe this one. Can analyst can able to see? No, right? He cannot able to. I mean, this the values has been, like different values has been masked, right? It means analyst can able to see. But what is this? What is the problem here? When you are implementing this, we need to unset the masking policy first. Again, we need to recreate it. Then we need to apply it. Right? Multiple steps we need to perform. First, we need to unset. So when we are unsetting, we wanted to know where and all this policy has been applied. For example, when I am doing this, when we are unsetting for this salary column, I have unset because we know that we applied for the salary column in this table. That's why we can able to see that we can able to unset it. But let's say, so when we are wanted to unset, we are not sure where and all this policy has been applied. Then how we will come to know? We can able to see this information in policy references table. What all the tables we have applied this particular policy, which columns we have applied this policy, what all the views you have applied this policy, everything you can able to see that in policy references table, information schema policy references. For example, observe this one. We can able to see based on this information, you will came to know where this policy has been applied. Just a minute. See this one. If you observe this here, by seeing this, what is the policy name here? This is the policy name. Let me change the policy name here. This policy name I wanted to know where and all this has been utilized. Observe this information schema policy references. Let me change it to account admin. Now observe this one. See this. We can able to understand where this policy is applied and then which table it is and then which database. See this one, whether it is a table or view, we can able to see that for which column we have applied it. So based on this, we can able to unset it. So once we came to know this information, okay, these are the like objects we have applied this masking policy, then we can able to unset it, right? So this may be your certification question and then interview question. So they will ask that how you can identify where and all the policy has been applied from where we will get it? Information schema policy references table. You are going to get it. So by the policy name, we can understand where and all this policy has been applied. Here, we need to perform multiple steps. We need to unset it. You need to recreate it. Again, you need to apply it, right? This is the thing what we can able to do. Instead of that, what we can do is, let's say, okay, where and all I have applied the policy, just I wanted to add one more role for the policy. For example, here we applied this for analyst column, analyst role, right? Now I wanted to include developer also to this particular one. I don't wanted to recreate it again. If you wanted to recreate, what is happening here? We need to unset it. We need to create it. Again, we need to apply multiple steps we need to perform. Instead of that, just I wanted to add developer to this for the existing policy. That we will call it as alter masking policy. We can use alter masking policy. This is possible. When you are altering, what we need to understand is we can able to alter it easily, but only the thing is we need to conclude that we need to get the information like, okay, if I add developer, where and all this policy is applied automatically for the developer role also, it is going to be applied. You no need to do anything. For example, this policy already implemented on some 5 tables and 3 views. Let's assume that. If I include developer to this particular masking policy, when I altered it, developer also automatically it will come to this particular rules. It means so developer also cannot able to see those 3 the hidden values and then like 3 views or tables where whatever it may be where and all you have applied those things also it will applicable to the developer also. We have to be very careful when you are altering masking policy because automatically where already this policy has been applied, this can be applicable to the newly added role. If you are okay with it, then only you can use alter masking policy. Otherwise, if you wanted to do it from a scratch, I don't wanted to do it, I wanted to define my own rules, then you can use recreating a masking policy. You need to unset it, you need to recreate it. Let's see here, so how we can able to perform alter masking policy. Now, after that, we will come to the views. See this, it's simple statement. What we are going to do is, we are implementing, see, when you are altering, right, you no need to unset, you no need to set it again, automatically it will be applicable. See this one, alter masking policy, masking name, and here I am using set body. See this one, in the case statement we are changing, along with analyst we are including developer also. Observe this one, not in current role, not in, we are including analyst as well as along with that developer, analyst as well as developer, then only we can use this value. Else hash of value we are giving here, don't get confused by hash of value. This is instead of hard coding the values, here what you are doing in the case statement, we are hard coding the values, right? Instead of that, this is a hash, is a function in Snowflake, so it is going to generate some random values. For example, here if you see, select hash of some value, if I give, see this will be converted into different value. See this one, you can see the last 5 digits, 82289, right? If I run one more time also, n number of times it will give the same value. So this one, it is going to generate this like these values. For example, if I add one more digit here, now it will change. See this, it will change. Same way, if it is a string also, I have given it for Snowflake. See this, it will give some value. Again, if I run this, it will give the same value. If I change, for example, Snowflake 8, now see this one, based on the value it is going to so convert into some the values in the randomly it is going to convert. So that's why we can use, instead of hard coding, we can use a hash of value here. Now here we are altering. When you are altering, whatever the policy already it has been applied, for which columns, for which tables, developer also included into that particular list. These rules will be applicable to the developer also. Now let's observe this one. When you altered, I have altered it. Now it is done. Now let me change the role to the developer. It has to be applicable for the developer, right? Now let's observe this. Let me check the data here. See this one, it applied for the developer, all right? So developer, so cannot see actual value. This is the hidden value, masked value, right? So previously it is only for the analyst. Now we have added developer also. Going forward, if you wanted to implement the other role, if I wanted to add a other role, yes, simply we can use alter command and then we can implement this. We can add this one. But what we need to remember here, when you are using like alter command, we have to be like ready for like where and all this is applied everywhere. This new role also, the same rules it is going to be applicable for the masking policy. Already it will be so implemented. You no need to again the modify it, you no need to again so set it. That is not required. That is the advantage of altering, but we have to be careful. So when we are adding the new role to the masking policy, when we are altering, okay, this is fine. So when you are working with altering, right, let's say now we wanted to apply this for a view. Yes, we can able to create it for a view also. Once your masking policy is created, you no need to create it again and again. Already, if the policy is available, same policy you can create it for a view also. For example, let me create a view here based on some other different table. Let me use select star from EMP. Now we have, let me change the role to account admin. Now let's see the data here. What we are doing is we are trying to apply this for a view. I will create a view here, create view, and then I will give my view. Going forward, we are going to discuss different types of views in Snowflake. We have different type of views where I will pick salary. Just for this execution, we will try to implement it. Greater than, I will pick only 6,000. Now we are creating a view. Now this is the view for us. Select star from, this is the view name. Now we can able to see the values from the view. Here this is the view details, right? Sorry. Now view is available. Now for this view, I wanted to apply a masking policy. Now this view, you should have access to all the roles, right? Then only we can able to perform anything. To give the access to all the roles for the particular view, we will give grant select permissions for that particular view. Once the view is created, this is the view name. Let me change. This is view, grant select on view. This is the view name. To the role analyst, same thing, I will copy it. Let's give this one. Grant select on view name to the role analyst business developer. Now let's execute this. Observe this one. We have given the access to the all the roles. Now these roles can see all the data from the views. Now if you see analyst can able to see the data. See this, right? Salary, age, they can able to see. Business, business also can able to see the things. And then developer, developer also can able to see the view data. Now our requirement is we wanted to hide the salary column. Now, I mean, we wanted to apply masking for the salary column. Then what you can do, you no need to create it again. Already the number masking policy is created. Same thing you can apply for this view. So when you are giving it for view, you no need to give, let me show you here. Here when you are giving it for view, you no need to give if exist, alter view. If exist is not required for the view. Alter view, just to give the view name. This is the view name. This is the view name. Modify column. What is the column here? EMP underscore salary. This is the column. SAL, right? This is the salary column. EMP SAL. Masking policy. What masking policy we are applying here? Masking number. See this? Already the policy is available. So the same masking policy we are applying for the salary column in this particular view. Now observe this. We applied. Okay, let me change the role to account admin. Now let me apply it. Now what will happen? Developer analyst, they cannot see the values. Now view account admin. Now let's change it to analyst. See the data in the view. Observe what you can see. Salary. See this one. Values has been hidden. Now the same thing come to the developer. Now we are in a developer role. Observe this again. Developer also cannot, developer analyst they cannot able to get it, right? This is how, so we can apply this policy. The same policy we can apply for a, once the policy is created, same thing we can apply it for a view, same thing we can apply it for a table. You can apply it for a number of columns, a number of views, and number of tables. There is no limitation. Once you created, you can apply for a number of times. Okay, that is fine. Now this is, we applied for masking column for the numbers, we applied the masking for the column for the strings. Both the things we have done it. Now if I wanted to do the kind of partial masking policy, partial masking policy means we wanted to hide only the specific, the values, specific digits from here to here, or the last digits I wanted to hide, or first digits I wanted to hide. This can be achieved with the partial data masking policy. We can able to implement it by using partial data masking policy. For example, so here any credit card numbers, any account numbers, you wanted to display only some values. So we can able to do it with the help of partial masking policy. Let's see some of the example here. What we will do is I will create, this will happen with the regular expression. Let me create a table and then let me insert some data to see this example. What we will do is we are creating, we are in account admin role. Just I'm creating some email table and let's insert some data into the email table. I have inserted the data into the email table and then let's observe the data here. Now what you can see, the data, we can see ID and then we can see emails, right? ID, emails, we can able to see that. Now here, emails, when you observe this here, you can see the first name. After that, you can able to see that domain name. So here I wanted to hide before at the rate, whatever the name is there, I wanted to hide it. It's up to us. Before at the rate, or you wanted to hide only the first, or you wanted to hide only the last, whatever it may be, everything can be handled with the regular expression syntax. Now here, our requirement, let's see, we will hide only the first value before at the rate, whatever the name is there, we wanted to hide that. That is our requirement. So if you wanted to do that, this table we created, for this table we need to give the grant permissions for all the roles. So after that we will create a masking policy. This is for the table, right? Table. What is the table name? Emails table. Emails table. Let's give the access. Now let's give the role access for the analyst, business, developer. We given the access to the analyst. We given the access to the business developer. Everyone can able to see the emails information here. Emails list they can able to see. They can able to access the emails. They can understand. So whose email is this belongs to? Based on that they can understand, right? But we wanted to partially mask it. We don't wanted to display it. Then what we can do is when we are creating, see this. This is a regular expression what we can able to do it. Observe this one. When you are creating masking policy, this is the masking name. So here value as a string, and then current role we are assigning to, see this one, developer account admin. Only for the developer account admin, then only the value. The business analyst, what they can do is, see this, it has to apply this regular expression on this particular value. What this syntax is going to do is, before at the rate, it will pick the at the rate. Before at the rate, whatever is there, it is going to replace with this particular stars. Before at the rate name, it will replace with this stars. It is going to pick the before at the rate, it will consider it, and then before at the rate, whatever the values is there, it is going to replace with at the rate symbol. That is so how this regular expression is going to work for the value column. Now let's apply this masking policy. Now we applied it. Sorry, we created a masking policy. Now we need to apply this masking policy, right? For the emails column, we need to apply. So what we are going to do, alter table if exist. So this is if exist is required only for the tables, not for the views. The table name is emails table, modify column, column name is email, and masking policy is email masking policy. Now we applied this. Now let's see, account admin can able to see the data, can able to see the emails. Now let's come to the business. See this one, it is masked. So partial masked, partially it is masked. Like that, whatever the rule you wanted to apply within the regular expression, you can change the syntax. Based on that, it is going to be applicable. Now here another one is analyst, right? Analyst. Now observe this one here, analyst. What you can see, analyst also it has been applicable. But a developer we given access, right? Developer can able to see. Now let's observe the developer can able to see the things, right? So like this, so we can able to implement the masking policy for the partial masking policy. Now let's see this one, we saw that for the numbers, one we saw that for the strings. The same string masking policy, if you try it for a date column, it will fail, it will not work. Date column will not be considered as a string. When you try to apply masking policy for the date column, it won't work it. So when you are working with a date masking policy, we need to create separate masking policy for a date column. Then only it can be applicable. Otherwise, it is not possible. See this, when you are working with a date column, one more thing you need to remember, proper date format only you have to give. You cannot give like stars, You cannot give the hash of value. You cannot give some string value. That is not possible. You need to give the proper date column when you are masking. What it mean by this is, let me create this table and then we will discuss on this. What I will do is, let me create a table here for the date. Okay, now this is the table what I am creating. We have a date of birth and then the number, SNS number, email, and then phone number. Let me insert the data here. Now I inserted the data into this table. Now if you check the data here, we will give the access to this. Okay. Now observe this. We have a date of birth column, right? Here, when I wanted to mask this, if I mask with stars, this because of the data type, this is a date format. Because of the data type, it will not allow us to create it. And here, when you are applying hash, also it will not work. What you need to do is, you need to modify this value with different specific date format. Any unique date format you wanted to, you can apply it. Let me insert again some data into the table. Now let's assume we have around 4 values here. We have around 4 values. Now all these values can be applied with some other default YYYY MM DD format. So you can able to apply it. So YYYY or DD MM format. So specific format, valid date format you need to give when you are implementing masking. Then only it will be applicable. Otherwise, it will not allow us to implement it. Now let's see what we have to do is, here when you are creating masking policy, before that I will give the access for this particular table for all the roles. Let me change here. This is the table, right? Table mask is the table. We are giving permission. Okay, now we have given. Now when you are creating, see this one, when you are creating masking policy, see this here I have mentioned, you should not give the like this, it will not work. Okay, you should not give the hash value. What you need to do is, always remember here, when you are creating masking policy, we need to give any random valid date to mask the actual date. See this, what we are giving, this year format, this date format, this is month format I have given, right? The some random date I have given, right? Current, observe this one, current role in account admin, then value, else we have given a proper date format. Now let me create this masking policy. I created this masking policy, right? Now when I created all the values, whatever the values, if other than account admin, all the values can be, all the other roles, they can able to see only this particular date only. This is a random date we have given, right? They can understand that, okay, this is the not the actual the date format. So because they have, it has been masked, right? Now what we will do is, we created a masking policy. We need to apply this masking policy, right? Then what you need to do, let's change the command, alter table. What is the table name here? This is the table name. And then what is the column we need to apply? So for the, this is the column name, right? Column birth. Set masking policy. What is the policy we need to apply? This is the masking policy. See this one, we are applying this masking policy for this date of birth column in this particular table. So only account admin can able to see the actual date. Others, they can able to see this particular data. That is the only one difference. So that's the reason we will tell that three types of dynamic masking policies we can create it. One is for the numbers, one is for the strings, another one is for the date parameter. Okay, now let's observe this. Let me change the role. Let's see the data here with account admin, right? Now account admin, what we have given. Okay, let me recreate it again. So because of this, right? So because this is a account admin here, the role we need to give it in a proper way. I have given it a different value here. Now let me unset it first. Unset, and then after that I have to recreate it, right? We need to unset masking policy for this particular table, for this particular column. So why? Because this is applied for the account admin also. It means it is not considering whatever the value we have given here. Now let me unset it. Now let me recreate it again. Recreated. Again, let's apply this. Now we have applied. Now let's see the data. Now we are in account admin. Now let's observe. See this. Now account admin can see. What about the other roles? Let's come to the analyst. See this. They can see the value what we have given, the hard-coded value, right? The random date. Same thing for the developer, business, and then analyst. Everyone can able to see only the value which we have hard-coded, the random, the date format which I have given. And this is the way how we can able to create the date masking policy. So especially when it is coming to the masking policies, we can create it one time, we can create it. Once we created it, we are going to decide for which table, for which view, so we are going to applicable. So now once it is applied, if you wanted to see where and all these policies so has been applied for any specific policy, what you can do, we can able to see that in a information schema policy references table, we will came to know where this policy has been applied. So based on that, if you wanted to recreate it or if you wanted to unset it, you can able to perform that information based on the requirement. So when you are creating masking policy, remember that it can be created with account admin or security admin only. See this one. Now we can see two things for the same masking number that's applied for a table, for a view, for this particular table, and then this is a table name, this is a view name, right? What is the column? It has been salary column, employees. This is the columns, right? In the view, this is a column. In a table, this is a column. So we can able to understand clearly so where this has been applied. Based on that, we can able to take a action, right? All these things so will not be like done by everyone. Like for example, if you are a developer, you may not get a chance to work on it specifically. Some the admin like related activities will be done by only for the specific persons. Okay, but we need to like understand. Now this is how so we create, and then we can apply, we can alter, and then we can implement this. Now going forward, if you insert some data into this table or if you insert some data into the view also, the same policy it will be applicable, right? So this is how the policy is going to work on this we will call it as a column level, right? Column level we are applying. Now when you observe this, let me show you some data here. Let's take our previous table, employees information table. Now observe this one. What it mean by row level, we will discuss it, that we will try to implement it in the coming session. See this here, I can see here we can see HR related information, tech related information, marketing, the departments. Observe the departments. This department belongs to three different departments. This data belongs to three different departments. One is related to HR, another one is related to technical, another department related to marketing. Now let's assume the marketing department manager is trying to access the data from this table. That guy can see only marketing related only. HR department guy wanted to see the data from this table. Only they can see HR related department only. And technical, they wanted to see only the technical department. They should not see other departments data. That is the main agenda here. If they wanted to restrict based on the department wise, the manager belongs to HR department, they can see only HR related data. It means here how many rows we have, 1 2 3, right? This and then this and this, that's it. They should not able to see technical and marketing related details, right? At the same time, if other manager is trying to access marketing department manager, they wanted to see only those data. It means basically based on the condition, we are restricting the rows based on their department, right? This particular thing is, we will call it as row level security information. We cannot say that row level masking policy. That is not a masking, don't get confused. Row level, when it is coming to the row level, that is a row level security. We used to call it as row level security information. Okay, so how to implement the row level security? So when we are implementing that, we have a different ways. One is by using a condition of views, we can able to do that. Other one is by using the intermediate mapping table, we can able to do that. Those are the two different approaches we can able to handle it. We will see that in the coming session, how to implement this like a row level security. So we'll see that in the coming session, guys. Now let's come to the questions here. Any questions here?
Dinesh, this is Ankit. Um, so how do we get to know like what and all grants are
Hmm.
um, provided for a table? Like who and all can access the table, right?
We
Uh,
have a show grants option, then you will get the complete information.
okay.
Show grants, yeah, that's a simple command.
So it will tell like what privileges. Like I don't think privilege exists in Snowflake, right? I think everything is through roles probably. But then if I have to look at like what and all table, if a role can see, the show grant will tell me,
Yeah.
right? And if at all I want to see the table, like who and all can access the table, that again show grant will help, is it? Or can
Yes,
we apply
we
filter
can,
there?
yeah, we can use show grants on table, then we will give the table name. Same
Okay,
way, show grants to the role and then role name.
okay, okay, got it.
Let
Thank you.
me, yeah, those things it will helpful. It will show everything what what all the role he's having the access, which what all the grants is having the access for the particular role. That is show grants to the role. Show grants on table, you will get the complete information about the grant privileges.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Generally, in projects, this
Yeah.
masking of a column and all
Okay.
will be defined by the modeling team, data
We
model.
cannot say that it's a modeling team, but uh, it's a mixed kind of thing. So let's say, so your architect may, sometimes your architect may define, sometimes your business analyst may give the information to us. So based on the requirement, we have to work on it. It's not only a modeling team. We cannot say that. Yes, a partially modeling team, a data modeler team also they will involve it, but mostly we will call it as a security team. Yeah.
Generally, developers will not have access to do these roles, right?
Yes, some we won't have access. Every like a team will not have access, but some of the organizations, right? What they will do is it will a kind of a mixed thing. So you have to work as a like admin as well as development also. Okay, so in that cases you have to do it.
Okay. Okay.
We have multiple roles present now, right? I think account admin will exist in the projects as well, is it?
Yes,
Or that can be modified to some other name.
no, you cannot able to. The account admin is a single account admin, but if you wanted to give the same account admin grants to other users, yes, you can able to do that.
Okay, and the other roles by default, what Snowflake provides, those will
Those also you
continue
can
to.
able to. Yes, exactly.
Okay, but we can modify the
Yep,
grant in
we
there.
can do that.
And the cascading effect, right, with option or with admin option,
Mhm.
um, that's also present, right? Like if I
Uh,
have to
mhm.
provide
Cascading
with
in the sense, I didn't
uh,
understand. Mm.
if I'm under developer and if
Okay.
or I mean just making it out. So if I'm a developer, I want to create a table and still give access to someone else.
Mm.
Um,
Got it.
right? Use
Got it.
yeah.
Mhm. What will happen is that we will come to the next session. What will happen is in Snowflake, right? For example, you are a user. Let's, as you said, you are a user and you are a developer. When you create any table, when you create any object, you will have the owner permissions. Okay. So you can give to any of the user the rights, the permission rights. But what will happen is here we have a concept of managed access schema. But I don't want to give the access to you. When you create an object, you can able to have all the permissions, but you should not able to transfer this permission to other user. By default,
Right.
what will happen is you can able to do it, but we
Correct.
can able to restrict that, so that we will call it as a managed access schema. That is a different concept. So in the
Okay.
next session we will see that how to work with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay guys, if you don't have any, thank you, thanks for your time. See you tomorrow guys.